Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. I think I got it.
Great.
Got the microphone. I'll get the guitar. Our opening song this evening can be found on page 220. We're going to do something different, very different to open tonight. It is a song that it's possible most of you have not heard before. It's called Ilu Finu. So if you pay attention to our emails, you're probably aware it's a special Shabbat tonight. It's Shabbat Shirah, the Shabbat of song. So tonight we're going to be doing a lot of fun singing. So I hope everybody brought your singing voices. And we're also going to be listening to the words of Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea, that the Israelites sang when they crossed to freedom. This Hebrew line that we're going to learn right now is, if our mouths were filled with song as the water in the sea. So starting off right with our water and song theme, Ilu Finu. It's a super fun song, and I am going to need everybody to sing. Everybody. So, first part of the song is really fun and easy. Here's how it goes. Ilu lulu, ilu lulu, ilu lulu, ilu lulu. That's it. Ilu lulu, ilu lulu, ilu lulu, ilu lulu. Got it? Twice, okay? So twice. Second part of the song has more words, okay? So it goes, ilu lulu, finu nu nu. Ilu finu this time. Everybody try that. Ilu lulu, finu nu nu. Okay, listen to the next part. Malele shirat kayam. Are you feeling brave? You can do it? Let's try it. Malele shirat kayam. Then it does the same thing but goes down at the end. Just listen one time. Ilu lulu, finu nu nu. Malele shirat kayam. Little more challenging, right? Let's try it together. Ilu lulu, finu nu nu. Malele shirat kayam. Ilu lulu, finu nu nu. Malele shirat kayam. Oh, yes, we are grooving already. Let's try part 1 and part 2. Ilu lulu, finu nu nu. 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 Second part. Ilu lulu, finu nu nu. Malele shirat kayam. Ilu lulu, finu nu nu. Malele shirat kayam. How are we feeling? You sound great. Third part. Oh, ilu, oh, finu. Malele shirat kayam. Oh, ilu, oh, finu. Malele shirat kayam. Want to try? Try it with me. Oh, ilu, oh, finu. Malele shirat kayam. Oh, ilu, oh, finu. Malele shirat kayam. One more time. Oh, ilu, oh, finu. Malele shirat kayam. Oh, ilu, oh, finu. Malele shirat kayam. Did you come to help?
Sure.
Which part do you want?
I don't know.
Think about it for a second.
Okay.
My friends over here, are you going to be my basses today? You know where we're headed, right? Okay, so these are my low voices over here. Ilu, lulu. Part 1. Okay, you're going to stay on part 1 the whole time. My friends in the middle section, you're going to be my altos today. Ilu, lulu, finu, nu, nu. You're going to stay on that part. And my sopranos and tenors. Oh, ilu, oh, finu. We're going to start out with some beautiful choral singing. Surprise! Okay, my basses. Ilu, lulu, Ilululu, vilululu, malele, shirakayam. Ilululu, beautiful. Vilululu, malele, keep on that part. Oh, ilu, oh, vilu, malele, shirakayam. Oh, ilu, oh, vilu, malele, shirakayam. One more time, all the parts. Ilululu, oh, vilu, malele, shirakayam. Oh, ilu, oh, vilu, malele, shirakayam. Beautiful job, my pop-up choir. Don't forget that song. You might need it later.
Beautiful. All right, I'd love to call up Janine Hutner to offer some words of welcome for us. Although you feel pretty loose, pretty welcome already. That's great.
Shabbat Shalom, I'm Janine, representing the Board of Trustees, and I would like to welcome you to Temple this evening. The beam of flowers and Kiddush this evening are in loving memory of Father Louis Dolgen and Aunt Shirley Levy from Linda Dolgen Duda and Steve Dolgen. Shabbat Yoga with Cantor Jen Rower and Amy Nistel on Saturday, January 27th at 10:30 a.m. The Gift of Mindfulness is on Wednesday, January 31st at 7 p.m. You may join in person or via Zoom. Directions for Zoom are in the January bulletin. Please join us for Kiddush in the hallway where we have an opportunity to greet one another. Shabbat Shalom.
So just yesterday, we celebrated the holiday of Tu B'Shvat, which is the holiday, the birthday of the trees, Jewish Arbor Day. And it's one of the 4 new years that the rabbis laid out for us. One of them being Tu B'Shvat, one of them being Passover, one being the beginning of the month of Elul, which is the month preceding Rosh Hashanah, and then Rosh Hashanah itself. And so whenever we have a new year, which we have also recently had, a secular new year, we think about all of the things that come with newness and with growth. And this Shabbat really is about newness. This is about the Israelites becoming a real people who are free from the oppression of slavery in Egypt and singing this song, which is why it has been dubbed Shabbat Shirah, the Shabbat of song. There's also this other idea that comes with this Torah portion and with these ideas about the Israelites, is that it wasn't just the Jewish people, so they weren't really Jewish yet-ish, they were Israelites, but that other people came with them. And it was called the mixed multitude. The idea that there were fellow travelers, people who were also ready to leave Egypt, and people of all different backgrounds and ethnicities, perhaps, who are also living in Egypt. And I feel like this week is a mixed multitude in itself. So on one hand, we have this really fun holiday of Tu B'Shvat, where we get to recognize nature and everything that trees bring to us. But there's also been some really difficult things that have happened this week. Today is also International Holocaust Remembrance Day, which is the internationally recognized day of Holocaust remembrance. We also do it again after Passover and Yom HaShoah. We also have the heaviness and the weight of the UN Court of Justice that happened today as well, with all of the challenges that brings too. And of course, we are still 111 days into the war in Gaza, and there are still 136 Israelis who are being held hostage. And tonight we are recognizing this young man, Ariel Cuneo, who's 26 years old. He is engaged to get married, and he works in the high-tech industry and is an avid meat eater. His brother is also also one of the hostages. So just as we have this mixed multitude of people who have been swept up in this care and guidance from God, we also have this mixed multitude of feelings that we might have experienced this week based on everything that is happening. And so we recognize that redemption is not quite as full as it might feel when we're reading the Song of the Sea. And yet, that is the way that life is, that it's not always one thing or the other, that we can have both, that we can hold both, and that we can continue to work toward this feeling of redemption. So with that, we are going to start our service on page 120 with our candle lighting. I'd like to call up Ernie and Audrey Brookfield to light our Shabbat candles. Oh, great.
He's just having trouble.
Okay.
I'll give it to him. Here,
You don't have to stand, you just stand right there.
he's got it. Okay. He's gonna read.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us in the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own days, be among those who kindle light.
Einu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'had l'kner.
Ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'had l'kner shel
Thank you. Page 127, at the bottom of the page. You can read together. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessings, O God. We'll turn now to our blue handout with the words to Lechun Aranana, which is one of the psalms, part of the psalms that we sing to welcome Shabbat.
Lechun Aranana, yai lei 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 lei, l'Adonai, yai lei 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 lei, na'avri
now to page 144 for the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadav yikadash shemei rabba belmad yivarach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael bagala bagala uv'izman kariv ve'imeru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Ulam Me'amaya Yitbarach Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yitaleh V'yithalal Shemei Dekudsha Barichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushvechata v'nechemata da'amiran belma ve'imeru amen.
Please rise for the Baruchu, page 146.
Ya lai lai ya lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai lai ya lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai
Page 149. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. We'll look back at our blue sheet for Kihem Chayinu.
Day and night, show us the way, teaching us to number our days. When we rise and when we lie down, Ahavat Olam, Ki Hem Chayenu, Ve'orech Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malkuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. We'll join together in the English on page 155. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. So there's a story that I wanted to share with you tonight that's actually a midrash that has to do with this moment where we are in the Torah, this Micha Mocha moment. And it's a story about a man named Nachshon. And Nachshon was a slave, like every other one of the Israelites, who found redemption at the hand of God. As he left like everyone else, and he packed, and he didn't let the dough rise, and he ran, and he was breathless, and he was scared and grateful, and away from the land of pharaohs and pyramids and slavery, Nachshon ran into freedom. And then he got to the sea. He and some other 600,000 now unslaved people stopped cold by the Red Sea. It was huge and liquid and deep. They couldn't see the other side. It was so big that they couldn't see any sides, just wetness from here to forever. And behind him, when he and the 600 others dared to peek, were Pharaoh and his army of men and horses and chariots, carrying spears and swords and assorted sharp, pointy things. At a distance, even, the sharp and pointy things loomed large in the eyes of Nachshon and his recently freed landsmen. They were caught between the original rock and hard place, or, as the story author says, between a water and a sharp, pointy thing. At this point, I don't think anyone involved cared much about getting the metaphor exactly right. What they cared about was getting out from this perilous middle fast. Moses went to have a chat with God, and just like that, he got an answer, a divine instant message. All the children of Israel needed was to walk forward into the sea, that big, wet, deep, forever sea, and God would provide a way. Trust me, God seemed to say. I got you this far, didn't I? I wouldn't let you fall now. Nachshon and the other 600,000 stood at the shivery edge of the sea, staring at that infinite horizon in front and the pointy, roiling chaos of death and slavery behind them. They stood, planted, and let's face it, not just planted, but rooted in their fear and mistrust and doubt. They may have felt reassured by the image of God as a pillar of smoke or fire, impressive pyrotechnics to be sure. But the soldiers and the sea were there, so present and much more real. Then, in the midst of the fear and doubt, something changed. Nachshon, recently freed, trapped between death by water and death by bleeding, did the miraculous. He put one foot in front of the other and walked into the sea. The 600,000 held their collective breath, watching the sea unfold before them as Nachshon did what they could not. He decided to have faith. And though the water first covered his ankles and then his knees and then his chest, then kept rising until he was almost swallowed whole, Nachshon kept walking, kept believing. And just when it seemed that he was a fool for his faith, that he would surely drown in this infinite sea, another miracle. The waters parted. The sea split, and Nachshon, so recently in over his head, walked on dry land. The 600,000 breathed again in one relieved whoosh of air, and they found their faith and followed Nachshon into the dry sea across to the other side. And then the journey truly began. This is a story by a famous Jewish storyteller, Stacy Zissuk Robinson, who died a few years ago. But this story offers us so much. It's so vivid in its description of what happened and how Nachshon had this faith that he could walk into a situation that was unknown and that God provided. And it offers us an opportunity to think about times in our lives when we too first took that step into an unknown, a situation where we might have had fear and doubt, where we were afraid for what was going to happen next. But then the path was dry, and we got to the other side. So we are now going to sing our song of Micha Mocha on page 157, again with these ideas.
By joining hands and marching together, singing la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Moshe
to page 162 for Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Turn now to page 164 and rise for the Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei HaKol, Ve'zocher Chastei Avot ve'imahot, U'mevii ge'ula livnei v'neihem, Lama'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham be'ezrat Sarah, Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Zomech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayim emunato lishenei afar, Micha mocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umachaya, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ata lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahaleluhu chasala, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
May be seated. We're going to be taking the next few moments for our own personal prayer. I would encourage you to look through pages basically 170 through 180, or take this opportunity for the words of your heart. We're now going to turn to page 364 for the moment that we've all been waiting for. I wish my children would stay in the room. For the Torah reading. So 364, I would invite the congregation to please rise.
Ki mitzion, tetzei Torah, u'davar Adonai miYerushalayim. 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 Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael. Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael. B'kedushato ki mitzion, tetzei Torah, u'davar Adonai miYerushalayim. 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 Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael. Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael. B'kedushato ki mitzion, tetzei Torah, u'davar Adonai miYerushalayim. Ki mitzion, tetzei Torah, u'davar Adonai miYerushalayim. Ki mitzion, tetzei Torah, u'davar Adonai miYerushalayim. Ki mitzion, tetzei Torah, u'davar Adonai miYerushalayim.
Thank you. You may be seated. Okay.
So, our mixed multitude, we have arrived at the sea. And we are celebrating music and freedom. So I'm going to be chanting, of course, the Song of the Sea, which you have on your handout. And we are going to be honoring for the Aliyah, which can be found on page 368, the music makers of our congregation, all those who uplift our congregation by leading music in any way, singing, directing, song leading. So I'd like to invite all of you to come forward for the honor of the Aliyah. While I tell you a little bit about the Song of the Sea, so if you look at your handout, you may be able to tell that there's some of the sentences are in bold, and some of them are not, both in Hebrew and in English. And this is because there's this magical thing that happens. Make yourselves comfortable, anywhere you're comfortable. If we don't, you can grab my prayer book too, although you all probably have it memorized. This magical thing that happens in the Song of the Sea, where many of you are probably familiar that we normally chant the Torah to a certain tune, right, called Torah cantillation or Torah trope. But at certain magical places in the Torah, we actually have what we call detours from a regular Torah trope where something really super special happens. And one of those places in the Song of the Sea, in any verse where God's name is mentioned. So while I am chanting, the challenge is, can you hear the difference in the tune, in the sentences where God's name is mentioned? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Baruch
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. You can come closer so you can see what it looks like.
Amen. Az yashir Moshe uvenei Yisrael et hashira hazot ladonai vayomeru lemor ashira ladonai ki ga'o ga'a sus v'rochvo rama vayam o ziv zimratia vayehi li lishua Ze'eli va'anvehu, Elohei aviva aroma menhu. Adonai ish milchama, Adonai shemo. Markavot paro v'chelo yara vayam, umivchar shalishav tu be'uviyam suf. Tehomot yechasyumu, yaraduvim solot kamo aven. Yemincha Adonai, ne'edari bakoach, Yemincha Adonai, tiratz oyev. Uverov ge'onacha taharos kamecha, tishalach charonecha. Ha yochalei mokakash, uveruach apecha ne'ermu mayim, nitzevu kmoneit nozalim, kafe utehomot belev yam. Amar oyev erdof hasig achalek shalal, timla emo nafshi arik charbi, tori shemo yadi, nashafta v'ruchacha kisamo yam, Tzalalu ka'oferet b'mayim adirim. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot osefele. 1, 2, 3.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Thank you. Great job. Great job. So happy you all joined us.
Thank you. Go ahead back to your seat.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now, in the presence of our Torah, as we do on Shabbat morning, we offer a prayer for healing, our Mishaberach Lecholim. In our community this week, we are thinking of and praying for the healing of Robin Stone. And if you would like to share another name with us, I would invite you to say them all at once. Give that a try. So, words to the Mishaberach are on page 371.
May the source of strength renewal of spirit, and let us say,
May they all find a sense of healing and wholeness very soon. I would invite you to please rise as we lift the Torah and dress it and return it to the ark.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל, על פי אדוני ביד משה. יאי לי 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 It's Chaim he lamachazikim ba v'tomacha meushar deracha darcheinu am v'chol nativotah shalom Hashiveinu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadish Chadish yameinu Chadish yameinu kekedem.
We remain standing and turn now to page 586, followed by 591 for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כעם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. This week I will be reading the names from last Shabbat and this Shabbat, and I also wanted to acknowledge and mourn the 25 IDF soldiers who fell this week. We're remembering Paula Cartman and Marge Goldstein, for whose families are in the period of Shloshim, the 30 days after their death. From last week, we are remembering Israel Abramovsky, Norman Benway, Moses Bilstein, Will Brookfield, Joseph Cohan, Kirby Warren Cohen, Martha L. Cohn, Beryl Fain, William Goldstein, Mildred Besner Green, Samuel Hirschman, Annette J. Himmelhock, Faye Hirsch, Alma Horvitz, Elsie Hutensky, Mamie Klein, David Constant, Dorothy M. Mindel, Seymour S. Mindel, Jack Minko, Aaron Moore, Mary B. Newell, Samuel Raskin, Marshall Romaine, Ida Rubin, Nate Seitner, Robert Schall, Elaine Moyer Steinberg, and Sam Sustin. And this week we are remembering Sidney Albert, Nathan Berenson, Robert Bramson, Bertle Brookfield, Ron Burnett, Esther Cannon, Arthur Dallett, Marcia Sue Davenport, Goldie Edelstein, Clara Epstein, Rebecca Fagan, Morris W. Fantel, Frank H. Feingold, Samuel Foreman, Herman Gerber, Nessie R. Goebel, Robert Gottlieb, Dorothy Igdaloff, Charles M. Jacobs, Barbara Judas, Teresa S. Klein, Clara Liederman, Chaim Lieserman, Shirley Levy, Charles Lieber, Sam Markwood, Nancy Newberry, Selma Reinstein, Dolores Rosenblatt, Dusty Rothman, Miriam E. Samborn, Mary Cohen Schleifer, Irving E. Shore, Erwin J. Silverman, Herman Silverman, Louis Sockett, Helen Spire, Millie Stadler, Jack Stone, Fern N. Erwitz, Janet Winkler, and Herman Wolf. If there are other names you'd like to mention, I would invite you to do so now. We turn now to the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598 and rise together. Yitgadal v'yakadash shemei rabbah be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agalal v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemed kudisha brechu, le'la min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amira, ilma v'imru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. You may be seated. We're going to end in the way that we began, with Ilu Finu.
I hope you remember it. Ilu, lulu. Ilululu, 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 ilululu. So far, so good. Ilululu, 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 malele, shirakaya. Ilululu, ilululu. I did it wrong. You were right. Give me another try. Ilululu, finununu, malele, shirakaya. Ilululu, finununu, malele, shirakaya. Oh, ilu, oh, finu, malele, shirakaya. Oh, ilu, oh, finu, malele, shirakaya. Okay, do you want the same parts or different parts? Same parts. Okay, we'll start with the bases over here. Ilululu, 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 finununu, ilululu, finununu, ilululu. Keep going. Ilululu, finununu, malele, shirakaya. Ilululu, finununu, malele, shirakaya. Keep going. Oh, ilu, oh, finu, malele, shirakaya. Oh, ilu, oh, finu, malele, shirakaya.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Please join us in the hallway for Kiddush and Motzi.